Over a period of 15 years, the South African banking industry has overcharged its clients millions of rands in interest.
This has occurred as a result of the determined efforts by the banks to show a profit at branch and head office levels at the end of the year. Now, it's a declaration of these profits, to a large degree, that influences your decision as a prospective client where you are going to bank. But how do the banks make these profits? Since 1980, the banking industry has been under investigation by companies in the private sector to determine whether they have been charging the correct interest levels set down by the Reserve Bank and the Usury Act. Alarmingly, it has been determined that every single banking institution in South Africa has overcharged the legal maximum interest rates and made incredible profits on their wayward banking policies. So what recourse to recover the money from the banks is available to the account holder, and how is this procedure effected?
Johan Miller, chairman of International Interest Corporation, explains the structure of his organization and how the overcharged interest can be recovered.
Millions of rands has been overcharged through the financial institutions over the last 15 years. International Interest Corporation was formed as a division of MS Target Marketing to correct these overcharges and repay to the client. In a staggering 91% of all accounts investigated, an error proved one time or another. I once had a discussion with a bank manager whom flatly turned around and said even if he had an agreement of prime plus 1 or 2% with his client, he had the right to change the rate to either prime plus 3 or 4 as he felt fit.
'n Bank is nie 'n liefdadigheidsorganisasie nie. Dit is 'n besigheid wat daarop ingestel is om die maksimum hoeveelheid wins te maak. Nou hoe hulle dit doen is hulle saak. Wat egter ons saak is om te sorg dat hulle dit nie doen ten koste van kliënte wat gebruik maak van oortrokke bankfasiliteite deur die oorverhaling van rentes nie. Dit is ons besigheid om te sorg dat waar kliënte blaatant gekil word met rentes, dat banke vasgevat word. In hierdie opsig het ons oor die afgelope 3 maande alleen meer as 500 000 rand se skikkings van banke gehad en is ons tans besig met meer as 4 miljoen rand se eise teen banke namens kliënte.
When a bank interest rate is agreed upon between the client and the bank manager, what is supposed to happen is that the bank makes its profit on money invested in it between the client's accepted rate and the bank acceptance rate as laid down by the bank itself. This is based upon the risk factor that the bank determines by the client's ability to secure the overdraft facility. At the top end of the graph is the rate determined by the government as the maximum amount of interest that the financial institution can charge. This rate is called the usury maximum. What is actually happening in some cases is that as soon as the client walks out the door, the bank manager at his whim issues instructions to overcharge that client any amount of interest that he sees fit. This procedure is undertaken to boost bank profits at the expense of the account holder. As a result of such practices, bank clients have been overcharged interest of any amount between the agreed upon rate and the levels that actually exceed the usury maximum. This is a criminal offense.
During November last year, one of our consultants met Mr. Katz from the Mariesburg Hotel. Mr. Katz decided to give us a mandate to investigate the interest charged on his overdraft bank account. Within 3 weeks, we had completed the workings and determined that there was a basic error of 33,000 rand.
Through the years, you come to trust your bankers. You take them as your business partners, people that you put your faith into, and then all of a sudden a firm like IIC comes along and makes you sit up and say, but these guys are there to make a profit.
Ek het 31 jaar by Volkskas gebank was ek lid van die eerste bankrekening wat ek opgemaak het was by Volkskas toe begin boer het. My pa daar gebank en my pa was eintlik 'n lewenslange kliënt van hulle gewees. Want hy het my oupa het altyd geglo dit is net een bank en dis dit Volkskas want dis al Suid-Afrikaanse bank wat daar is. So groot was my vertroue in die bank gewees.
Any amount of interest overcharge between the agreed upon rate and what the banks charge constitute a flagrant disregard of fair banking principles. This interest does not belong to the banks. It belongs to the client. International Interest Corporation has the human resources and a 100% accurate software-driven program to determine the exact interest overcharged. They also have a legal team to ensure that the money with interest due is rightfully returned to the client. However, what are the banks doing with their ill-gotten profits? The question you must now be asking yourself is how you feel about what the banks are doing with their profits. And if you knew of a proven system to recover your money, how could this work for you? At the International Interest Corporation, a highly professional one-on-one system has been set up to make it their business to recover your money.
I was amazed at the speed that IIC recalculated the interest, and also with the speed that they managed to get First National to accept that they had made a mistake and pay out what they owed me.
IIC se regsadviseurs het my gehelp dat ek 'n skikking buite die hof gekry het met die bank en die bedrag het beloop R75,000 wat hulle vir my teruggekry het.
This system involves a team consisting of consultants, accounting, marketing, and legal expertise, all geared towards making your claim a simple, pain-free experience. Exactly how does this work? Well, the first step is to find you. Our highly trained staff of telephone consultants are constantly busy making contact and being contacted by the general public to determine whether there's a bank overcharged interest situation. In 91% of the cases, a problem situation exists. It is with this powerful statistic that our phone consultants can make a professional approach and secure an appointment with a prospective client. Once the appointment is secured, one of the IIC consultants visits the client at home and explains in detail the process by which a claim is made on the banks. Once the client gives his approval and the necessary authorization to investigate the accounts are given, the consultant returns to IIC head office where the data capture process is initiated and the claim amount determined. Within 3 weeks, all the necessary investigations are concluded and the consultant makes arrangement to meet his client to discuss claim procedure. At the point in time when the claim is made on the bank, one of two situations can develop. In the first instance, the bank can accept the claim made by the client and a relatively speedy payout takes place. This situation occurs in most instances and the IIC consultant, acting on behalf of his client, closes the case with the bank after payment is made. However, this is not always the case. Should the bank choose, for any number of reasons, to dispute the claim, IIC has an in-house legal expert whose sole responsibility it is to act on behalf of IIC and their client to recover the money. It has not happened as yet, but IIC is prepared to go to the Supreme Court if necessary to recover the monies owed by the bank to its rightful proprietor. It must be stated that the claim procedure is a cradle-to-grave process and that if the client so chooses, the IIC consultant will be there all the way until the money is paid out.
They were clients of First National Bank and negotiated an overdraft with them. Something that I did not realize was going to cost me a lot of money at the end of the day. You always get brainwashed by the different television ads that the banks have how efficient they are, and they are your friend, and you don't realize that the amount of mistakes that these people make.
If you knew that part of 100 billion rands of your money was lying somewhere in a bank that you did not have access to right now, wouldn't you want to recover it? If you knew there was a 100% successful and proven system in place to recover your money from the banks, wouldn't you use this to get it back?
To avail yourself of this system and recover your money, you only have to discuss it with your IIC consultant or call the International Interest Corporation in Cape Town on 021 439 7507 or Pretoria on 012 663 6534.